Hey there, this is David Polson with the Real Estate Edge coming to you live here. I have the great honor to be here today with Guillermo Reyes, a 20-year veteran in the real estate business, and he's going to teach us stuff that you couldn't even imagine about. Hey, welcome, Guillermo. Um, so you're going to teach us how to be top realtors like yourself today, right?
Yes, sir. I'm going to
All
do my
right.
best.
Awesome. Awesome. We really appreciate you being here. We come here every Monday morning at 9 a.m. To kind of help people with new ideas in their business. So, Guillermo, what are you going to teach us today?
Well, I think one of the things that I wanted to share, which I already shared with you and share with the group, the scripts that I've emailed to you and Jeff. Did you get them, Jeff?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I
So
sent a copy.
there's 31 scripts. I think these are the ones that way back in my Better Homes and Gardens days, we used to do a Friday um powwow where we would just be asking questions. It's like a tit for tat, and whatever objections we were getting during that Sunday's open or a broker tour, whatever any agent had questions about, we would always entertain. And uh and so today's what I wanted to impart on you and share that whoever's on the class, share the scripts with everyone. And my hope is that everyone will take the scripts and run with them and make them your own. And the key to this thing is you got to practice, because if you don't, if you get the scripts and you basically just put them away in your computer somewhere, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. I believe we're going to see a lot of people exiting the real estate business in the next coming year or so. This is definitely becoming a skill-based market. This is, I think, my fourth down market that I've been through, and so you do go into that little hole where wow, what's going to happen to the market. We all fear. If we didn't have any fear, we wouldn't be human. But we do have to adapt to the market and to the changes, and we can no longer hide behind text message and email. I think conversations are going to be super critical, because we do need to educate our clients in this skill-based market. You can't do it via text message. So it's all about developing rapport. So I want you guys to think about scripts as not necessarily scripts. Real estate, by the show of hands, what do you feel real estate is really about? Can anyone tell me? I have one word for it, but I want to kind of get you guys' idea on what you feel the meaning of real estate.
Yeah, and if you guys can throw your cameras on too, that would be super cool. For me, real estate is talking to other people, is really just, I mean, I guess I feel like a teacher, and I'm taking my 30 years experience and helping them down the path to home ownership. So, I think the biggest part of it is the conversation, like you're saying.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That's it, David. The whole key to real estate, it's a conversation. And and by a show of hands, how many, and let's completely be honest, right? You're at an open house and you're like, man, open houses don't work, right? They don't sell houses. How many of you folks have heard that open houses don't sell? And a lot of times you're like, man, I got to do this open house, but um I'm not very encouraged. I'm not looking forward to picking up any clients. How many of you guys share that mindset, or what is your mindset around, for example, doing an open house? Anyone?
Well, I think for me, it's always been doing an open house. You're right. It may or may not sell it, but it's also my opportunity to get to interact with the public. and also about this house or any other house. Um, you know, uh, what do other people say?
Yeah, anyone else? Justin, you have any take on that at an open house? What's your aim? What's your purpose prior to going to the open house? What's your mindset?
Um, Good morning. Sorry, I'm driving, so that's why I have my video up.
No, no,
Uh,
it's all good.
yeah, I think no, I think it's very helpful, especially for me that I'm new in the business. Um, you have to do something. I wasn't very pro cold calling and door knocking because I just wouldn't be open to anyone that does that to me.
Mhm.
That's why I am like, open house, at least you're getting people that are interested in buying or selling. So I don't mind them. Like some, like for example, my past open house just passed this week, it was an open house after 4 months, which I don't really see the point of it at that point. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but especially the first month or two, I think it's good to have. And also, even if it's after 4 months, if there is a price drop, then it makes sense. But if the price hasn't been dropped for a month or two again, but I would be happy to hear what your take is on that. Like, how long are you going to go on with open houses? So, I accepted it without knowing it has been in the market for 4 months. I see it as an opportunity. At least my signs are out. So if anything, people can't see my face. But I'm kind of reluctant. Like when someone asks me, "Are you available this weekend?" Should I always say yes, whether it's a condo that has been sitting in the market for 4 months, or do you think it's better to say which property are you asking for? So I'm curious to see what you think as well.
Anyone else? Justin, anyone else?
I do. So what was the question there, Guillermo?
So the mindset when going to
Oh, the mindset.
holding an open house, how do
But the
you
mindset. Well,
yeah,
I think
what's
the
your
mindset
mindset
is
going
definitely
into it?
thrive.
How do you
The mind,
mentally prepare to setting yourself up for an open house, and what's the purpose for it?
okay, well, the mindset thrive. I mean, I'm there as a job and I gotta do the best job. I mean, there's times when I did a lousy job. I just put up 3 signs. I get there, open a door, turn on the TV, watch the game, and that's it. But and that's a horrible way of doing it. But on the other hand, there's most of the time I'm prepared. I prepare
Mhm.
on Monday to get it to battle on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I'm there ready for the seller. I'm ready there for the buyer, and I'm ready to get down and do my thing. It doesn't matter if I stay there for 3 hours or 5 hours. I mean, I'm there to get social securities. I'm there to get pre-approvals, and I'm just ready with my seller material because I know the seller because they have a different walk than the buyer. And once they walk in, I'm all over it. And I even invite myself to their house and I say, hey, where do you live? What's your house number? Can I come and visit? I'll give you a free evaluation. And I'm just ready to go. And,
Mhm.
my time is valuable and I take it serious. And I do
Yeah.
some door knocking. I prepare properly. I think that's the important thing, right? You do open house, but prepare properly. And that's by marketing all week long to have success over the weekend. And if you're doing it in the weekday, same concept. Few days prior to the open house, do your due diligence, know your stuff, have your material ready, have your text messaging ready, and whatever your registration book is, and then do a good follow up. The follow up is the key, and that's basically that should be standard for all agents doing an open house. So, yeah.
That was one of the things I've always done is one is put out lots of signs because you get the visibility, but also door knock, 200 or 300 doors around your open house and invite people to the open house. I think, Jeffrey's absolutely right. You're working up that whole week towards this is going on stage. And this is when you go on stage, and this is when you have to shine. And I think going back to Guillermo, you have to have the scripts in place to have the confidence to be on stage. I mean, do you find, is there an actor that goes on stage on Broadway without having his scripts in place? I don't think I would want to go to that Broadway show. So don't you want people coming to your open house?
Yeah, I think an open house also offers an opportunity for you to get to know the neighborhood, and
Mhm.
all the curious neighbors are gonna swing by, or at least be curious what's going on. But like Jeffrey said, you got to know the neighborhood, and you may get a potential listing from that. They see you, they like you, see you're proactive, you're door knocking, like you mentioned yourself, and you send flyers, whatever you have to do, but um, don't just go and sit there for a couple hours and then go home. Like I've been guilty of that. But being proactive, door knocking, like you said, and having the neighbor seeing you working, because you're like you said, you're on stage, that you might become their listing agent, by the open house.
Hmm. Hi, how you doing? Hello, everybody. I'm
Hi,
Good
Takesha.
morning.
Good morning. I'm Takesha. I'm very new. I just signed up with EXP actually Friday, so I'm like a
Wow.
baby on.
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a baby in this, but I am super excited and super pumped. Like I never hosted an open house, of course. Like I said, I'm very, very new, but I'm excited to get to that point in my career to host my first open house. I feel like me personally, that's the one of the ways to get to know the community. I used to work for the public anyway, so I don't mind talking to people and going out there and pretty much being a politician, kissing, shaking hands and kissing babies. That's how I'm looking at it. Um, and introducing myself and showing what I can do, not only for myself and for, my seller, but what I can also bring to the community as a whole. I want to work with everybody. So I'm super pumped. So any advice, to those who have already hosted many, many open houses, if you can give me any
You
advice,
are
I would
you,
love to take it.
you are in absolutely the right place because you've got a 20-year veteran, Guillermo, here, who's going to give you the secrets to having a great open house today. So Guillermo, go, let's get into it.
So let's why don't we we'll start. We're just gonna jump right in, sort of cold on script number 21, David.
Okay.
And obviously everyone that's on the call, share the scripts with everyone so that at some point you guys could also team up with one another and do some script practice. Now, a lot of folks may have, and what do you guys, what do some of you guys think about scripts? When you hear the word script, what do you hear? Where does your mind go when you hear that word?
I think, that's not me. I mean, it sounds kind of salesy or just,
Mhm.
it's not something I would do.
Got it, got it. And that's you being completely vulnerable, right? Just being completely open.
Yeah.
So, and so the question that I asked, because a lot, when we used to do this training at BHG, a lot of folks had already such a negative mindset around scripts that we would ask, well, what's your script? What's your script? And how is your script working for you? Because at the end of the day, what is your result? What is your net result? What is your return on your investment, meaning your time? Whenever you're talking to strangers, whenever you're on the phone making a phone call, whenever you're just having a brief conversation, what is that NOI? What are you looking for? What's the net result? If the net result is you're not getting any results, then you know the answer. Your scripts aren't working because we all have a dialogue to our children, how we interact with our spouse, how we interact with our friends, how we interact with the people we don't quite like, right? There is a script that we have for everyone that we interact with. And by the way, there's always a sales transaction happening at any given time. Whether it's a sales transaction or a personal transaction, there's always something going on. So we're going to go to script number 21, and then I'm going to ask for audience participation as to what they think about that script. So here's the situation. The buyer sees the market shift and believes that he has all the time in the world to look and buy, kind of the market that we're in right now. And so I'm going to be the buyer, David, and you're going to be the realtor in this instance, okay?
Okie dokie.
All right. So, David, there's really no rush. There's a lot of houses on the market, and I can, take my time looking.
Guillermo, you're correct. There are many homes on the market. Let me ask you, how many homes are in great shape and would be a home for your family would love and enjoy?
Well, David, I don't know. I would assume there's many of them.
As a buyer specialist, I look at homes every day, and there are many homes that look great on the outside and need a lot of work on the inside. Are you willing to pay thousands of dollars to fix up a home?
Well, David, not really.
Then we only want to look at the great homes that you'll enjoy, correct?
Correct.
Well, then you should know the great homes always sell fast regardless of the market. Could I explain?
Sure, David.
Buyers are always looking at homes every day, and when you look, you shop by comparisons, correct?
I always do.
Well, when a buyer finds a home that fits their needs and it is in great shape, they usually react quickly and buy the home, taking it off the market and leaving what's left. Do you want someone else's leftovers? Hold on one sec. Do you want someone else's leftovers, or do you want to choose the home that you and your family will enjoy?
Well, David, I don't want someone else's leftovers for sure.
Great. Then we need to look now and buy a great home. Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree, David. So, how many people agree that's a great dialogue?
Yeah, that's incredible. And you know what? That dialogue fits today because, you when you do go to the MLS, you do see more homes on. But when I'm looking for specific buyers, I'm really having a hard time finding the home that fits them. And you're absolutely right.
Right? And so, what else did you notice about the pattern that took place in the script?
I think you're constantly agreeing with their fears and kind of redirecting them is what I see.
Right. And so, the one thing is that there's a lot, it's a very question-based dialogue. And we as agents, we're all guilty of the fact that we go into telling mode rather than asking mode. So if there's one takeaway, I want you guys to always, and I'm a talker, obviously. So I got to remind myself constantly that when I'm in a sales environment, I tell myself selling is not telling, selling is asking questions. Selling is not telling, selling is asking questions. I'm constantly telling myself that before I go into a listing presentation, a buyer presentation. Why? Because at that point, we know being real estate agents and having been in the business for so, when I started, I used to commit verbal vomit, literally, when I went to a listing presentation, and I knew I wasn't going to get it because all I did was talk the entire time. And when you're getting a feeling that you're not going to get hired because you've lost the crowd. It's like a 5-year-old, their attention span. And the way you do that is by asking questions. So now this script, I want to call it a dialogue. And wouldn't it be to your best advantage to have a sequence of questions already lined up? Like a doctor, you go to a doctor's office, he's got a clipboard. How does that make you feel? The act that he's got a clipboard and a pen, how does that make anyone feel? Any comments on that?
He's in control.
He's in control. What else comes to mind when you see the clipboard and the pen?
Professionalism.
The fact that he's
Professionalism,
attentive.
attentive. What else?
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, right? And would you also, would it be a fair statement to say that he cares?
Yes.
Because he's taking notes. So when you go to by the way, get out of the mindset that you need a huge glitter of a listing presentation. I used to think that probably 15 years into my career because it's ego based, right? Let's be honest. We love to be patted on the back and to get all the accolades and trophies and what have you. But at the end of the day, all I do now, David, I just bring a clipboard and a pen, and I already have my 10 opening, like, in the NFL game, right? You got to have your 10 opening.
plays.
I got my 10 plays that I'm going to ask.
Yes.
And then I'm going to piggyback on their questions. What would you like to get out of this meeting, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Well, Guillermo, great, terrific. I'd like to move to San Diego. Oh, you love to move to San Diego. I'm like a parrot. Oh, you love to move to San Diego. Well, what's in San Diego? Oh, well, my kids, my nephews, my grandkids, oh, your kids and nephews. What would be in San Diego with your kids and nephews do for you, Mrs. Smith? Oh, man. And wouldn't it be great if you could be in San Diego in the next 30 days? Yes, it would. And Mrs. Smith, if I could make that happen for you and get you the most money in your pocket so that you can go buy another home, which you're going to buy another home in San Diego, right? Correct. Yes, I am, Guillermo. Terrific. What would that do for you? Paint me a picture. At that time, you're piggybacking on the initial question that you've asked. What would it do for you? Here's another powerful word. Write it down. Tell me more. Tell me more. Is that a powerful statement? Tell me
Yes.
more. David, tell me more about that experience. Oh, the other agent we hired, expired listings. By the way, write down Vulcan 7. Vulcan 7. Okay, if you don't have Vulcan 7, you need to get Vulcan 7. It's about $280 a month. They have a dialer. You get all the expired listings. If you want to make some money, hey, I started real estate in 2002. There was no YouTube. There was no, I couldn't turn to anybody online. Right now, I mean, I go to YouTube, I see Justin, I see Jeff, I see all these videos, and I'm like, moving to Ohio, moving, and they got you got a TV show. I mean, it's amazing what you can do, and it doesn't cost anything but your own personal time. Now, if you're just starting out and you have like no money, hey, spend a little money on Vulcan 7. There is video after video on the guys that are top agents in the nation. It's worth $280, and you can start dialing. And they even have scripts, they have training. I mean, if you want to become successful and make 100,000, 300,000, I want to tell you guys, it's easy to do, but you got to put in your time. You got to put in your time. Learn your dialogues, learn your scripts. Real estate is nothing more than kissing baby. What was that statement you said? Meeting and kissing babies. That's all. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. So,
Sorry, I said shaking hands and kissing babies like a politician.
like a politician, there you go. And
Well,
so,
I'll tell you, when you're going through your dialogues just there, and you were pretending you're a listing presentation, I look at you, how confident you are. You know exactly what you're going to say. In fact, I bet you probably do that in your sleep. I mean, it's incredible. And you're showing us the importance of learning these scripts because it's second nature to you. You're not fumbling for words or anything like that. And if you do fumble, right, then you start to feel not confident. But you were just like total confidence. You know exactly what you're going to say. You probably know what they're going to say too. And so I think you're showing us the importance of these scripts.
no, they're crucial. I don't see them as scripts. I see them as the foundation for building your own dialogue and building your own question-based presentation that fits your personal style as a real estate agent. And by the way, I want you guys to write. I got a lot of information. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. There's how many folks are familiar with the DISC profile, DISC? I know being with Keller Williams, David, you know exactly, that's the first thing they do. They take your disc.
Yes.
If you don't, go online, DISC. So basically the disc profile talks about dominant, influential, steady, and compliant personalities, okay? It is crucial that when you pre-qualify the listing appointment, meaning when you pre-qualify either a buyer or a seller, okay, that you figure out what personality style you're going to be dealing with during that listing presentation or buyer presentation. Because if you're by nature a talker and you're with an engineer, there will not be a connection, correct? So you got to talk the engineer language. If you're dealing with a steady or school teacher type, nurturing type, even the way you dress when you meet with a school teacher, if you dress all in black, that can also be viewed as being confrontational to the educator. So you want to wear soft colors when you meet with them. You want to be very tender in your speech. You want to lower the volume of your speech. You want to mirror their tonality. When they speak to you, you speak like them. If they're slow talkers, you slow down your roll. What do you think of a fast talker when you meet a fast talker and they say you're not a fast talker? What's your take on that? Jeff, you got an opinion on that?
Fast talk. Wow, car salesman. I think of a car salesman.
You think
Slick
of car
talker.
Okay. And at that point, are you shutting down the conversation? Are you already like shut down and interacting with that individual?
I got a defense. I'm now analyzing at a very high level.
Okay.
I like to talk too, but
Okay,
I'm analyzing this individual because I also have an analytical side to myself.
got it. Okay. So that's your take. And anyone else feel the same way, David? It's a car salesman, a slick talker.
Yeah, I feel like they have something to hide because
Oh.
you're moving so fast and you're speaking so fast and you're not really going in deep in depth in which of what you're saying. So there's something in there that you're hiding. And now I have to, it's my job now to pick apart what you're saying. So now at this point, I don't want to have any interactions with you because I feel like you're not being honest.
Yeah. And by talking to you, Keisha, I know, and we just interacted for probably the last 20 minutes. You're a dominant director. You're a no nonsense type of person. Tell me how it is. I want to know how much it's going to cost. What are you going to do? You keep it very business. Is that a fair statement about you?
Very fair statement.
There
And not only that, I am also very caring. And I also like to get to know people in general, whether it's business or personal. I like to get to know people because I like to know what they're interested in. So yeah, I have my business side, but I'll also have my caring side.
Yeah. And so you are a protector as well.
I agree, definitely.
Okay, all right. And so this is just based on a small little conversation. And by the way, dominant directors and school teachers do very well in real estate because they when it comes to the contract and negotiations, man, they're fierce when it comes to that. So you got a great quality, Keisha, and you're going to do very well. I can see you're going to do very well in real estate. Okay. So let's look at script number 22, and then we'll continue to build on that. And I'll be the agent in this time. I'll take the pressure.
I'm wondering where can we find these scripts?
Well,
Jeffrey will send them out to everyone. Jeff, can you do that or have someone do that?
Awesome. All right, so David, the buyer. So the situation, the buyer sees the market shift and believes that he has all the time in the world to look and buy. Kind of the market we're in right now, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, go ahead. So you'll go ahead and ask the question, David.
So there's really no rush. There's a lot of houses on the market.
David, there certainly are many homes in the market. Let me ask you, has there ever been a time when you were out shopping and you saw something on sale that caught your eye, and yet you didn't have the time right then to stop and buy it? And you thought, man, there's so many, I can come back later and buy it, only to find out, David, that when you came back, the best ones weren't available anymore. You ever been there, David?
Yes, yes,
Well, David, this time is like that time. May I explain?
sure.
Even though there are many homes in the market, the good ones always sell, David. Everyone's looking for the best home for the best value. So regardless of the number of homes, that the best ones still sell quickly. Now, you do want the best home with the best value, don't you?
Yes, yes, I do.
David, then let's buy today and make this a great home for your family. Okay?
Okay.
Now, how many people would assume I practice that script 1,000 times? Right? Right. So, and the first time and so I had a coach for 10 years with the Mike Ferry organization. And then I drifted over to Tom Ferry. By the way, you guys look him up, tomferry.com or mikeferry.com. You got free scripts in there too on expired listings for sale by owners. That's just a little side info there. And so they were big on scripts, and I used to battle my coach in the beginning because of my ego, scripts are this and that. And he would always say, well, Guillermo, how are your scripts working out for you? Or what's your net return? How many deals are you doing based on your own scripts? So stick to the script. Do not deviate from the script, because then you get too wordy when you start adding more stuff to it. Keep it very simple. I heard something that if you go beyond 20 seconds on a question or a statement, you're over talking yourself, right? So the key is asking questions. Now, what did you notice, David, before the meeting? You kind of hit on a couple of cylinders. What did you notice about the script? Some of the embedded commands, some of the call to action, some of the words, that even the way you say or you enunciate the word that stays with. This is incredible stuff. Okay, you guys.
Yeah.
So what's your takeaway on that, David?
I mean, this really speaks to me because I don't know. I mean, there's so many times I've gone to Costco, I walk by something and I think, that would be great to have. And then I come back the next day and it's gone. And I think the same thing here too. I think even as you're working with buyers in the market, they'll see that too. And I think it's just reiterating what they already know and what they see. I like your embedded commands as far as, making this a great home for your family. I mean, that really speaks to somebody's heart, right? And that's the whole point of what they're doing, right? That's why they're buying a home, to make a great home for their family. So I think you have quite a number of these embed scripts in there that's helping people move along in the process.
So going back to Sarah about the open houses and if the home is overpriced and it's been on the market for 4 months, these are stories that we're telling ourselves, right? These are stories that we're telling ourselves. So whether the home is overpriced, underpriced, it doesn't matter, because you are going to make a connection and you owe it to yourself to educate. At all times, you're educating, you engaging. There is going to be what I call a breaking point where you're going to break into rapport. Okay, when you're going to break into rapport. Problem with a lot of us agents and people in general, we demand instant gratification by demanding instant rapport. Grace, I see you agreeing with me, right? I
Yes.
want you to do this because I'm a real estate professional and you should follow my lead. Well, you have to earn their rapport. In other words, you got to break bread with them first before you earn the right to earn their respect, their rapport, and their confidence, and so on that comes with it. But there's going to be a breaking point in that you can, what they call instant rapport. You can get into instant rapport in open house. And the way you do is by asking questions, and then you're going to reach a point where there's going to be common ground. Now, are you going to create a rapport with everyone you meet at an open house? You will not. But I can bet you that you will create rapport with a handful of people that will find value in what you have to offer. And by the way, it doesn't matter how long you've been in real estate. When I was, there's a saying, fake it till you make it in real estate. A lot of my coaches to tell me that, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay. So it doesn't matter how much you know about real estate. I have a lot of clients in the last 20 years that still follow me, and they knew I was new, but they knew that I care about them, and they enjoyed being around me, having conversations. And if I didn't have an answer, I would not fake it. I would tell them, Mr. Jones, whomever, I don't have the answer. Would it be okay if I get back to you by noon today with that answer? Would that work for you? How many
Yes.
people are going to say no to that, right?
Yeah.
Can I get back to you by noon today? And make sure you get back to them by noon. And by the way, don't be late to any appointments. When you do an open house, be there. Time is money, just like Jeff said, be prepared, do your door knocking. Right now you could do, obviously you can do Facebook Live, you can do so many things right now that don't cost you money, that it's basically costing you your time.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I agree with you. I always think it's important to do what you say you're going to do. And probably the first thing that you're going to show someone is whether or not you can show up on time. And if you don't, what are you telling them? Also, what does it do to yourself? You have to think about that too. So, let me just tell you, Guillermo, we got 2 minutes left. So if you want to give us some parting, more ideas, that would be great.
Awesome. So definitely next week, more participation. You guys create a community amongst yourselves with EXP and Jeff. Definitely and continue to encourage that. I encourage you guys to partner up with someone, learn the scripts, practice the scripts, and then next week, if you have any questions, I'll run you through them. Okay, because there's a lot of keys. There's a reason to the madness on how you deliver the scripts and how to do it successfully, and more importantly, how to deliver them concisely and make them your own. Okay, super important, and that's going to make you confident. So emotion creates motion. Okay, emotion creates motion. If you are have a lack of confidence or what have you, or don't feel that good about yourself, is because you're not learning these things. This is what gave me confidence as a first-year agent. I didn't know anything, but I knew if I learned my dialogues that I would become somewhat successful, and it worked for me. It can work for anyone.
Well, this has been incredible, Guillermo. And also, thank you very much for coming back next week and teaching us. So, Jeff, you'll send out the scripts to everyone.
Yes.
And then just kind of like he's saying, if you can find a partner, and if you can't find a partner, I guess go back to Jeff and he can help find someone for you. And then let's reconvene. We'll be back here next Monday at 9 a.m. and see how everyone does. So thank you again, Guillermo. Hey, this has been incredible.
Ya. ¿Qué, mi amor?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy. Have an awesome week. Have an awesome week.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
happy
guys.
Thanksgiving and
Thanksgiving.
get out there and kick some butt.
There you
Bye-bye.
go. All right.
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thank
Happy
you so
Thanksgiving.
much.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.